Alright, let's start it. Let's start the stream. Let's start it. Let's do it. This ain't no fucking around. Come on, let's get it going. Who am I angry at? Am I angry at you? No, I'm not angry at you. Am I angry at myself? No. Am I angry at the light? Yes, I'm angry at the light. Why does there have to be a light? I don't need it. Turn it off. Alright. Hey, I'm Eric. I'm making a game. That game is called the Godkiller, and it's just a whole bundle of complicated awesomeness. Yeah, it's you're inside of an intricate three-dimensional space. The camera is always looking top down. You have a lot of information to look at. You're exploring, you're solving puzzles, and it is designed to make you smarter. No, it's not really. It's designed to teach you a series of concepts that satisfyingly come together in your mind so that you can look at something that's fairly complex and make sense of it, which is what the world asks of us. So, I mean, that's kind of like it's giving you something in the real world, but I don't want to pretend like I'm fixing everyone's brains to be optimal or something like that. But if you are the sort of person who really likes to sink into a good puzzle, good problem, and just deconstruct it, figure out what's the next step, what do I know, what do I not know, stuff like that. If you're that sort of person, you're going to love this game. It is a playground for you. So I'm practicing pitching the game a little bit, because I know that eventually I will need to be able to verbally explain in short amounts of time what's good about the game to a variety of people. Alright, let's show recent progress. Now, I am pretty friggin' happy about this this lightning effect that I coded from scratch. You know, first I went on to the Unity asset store and I said, what type in lightning and see what everything that came up. And here's the thing, when I just know pretty clearly what I need to do to write the thing, it's something that takes hours, not days, I'm almost always better off writing it myself instead of getting it from the asset store. If you get something from the asset store, here's what happens. It won't work with the particular setup you've got. That's one thing that happens. Like it was coded for a different pipeline, rendering pipeline than what you're using, or it was written for an older version of Unity. I feel bad about anybody who puts out stuff on the asset store and it's always like going out of date and becoming obsolete. It's hard to make your money back when the platform you're publishing on is constantly upgrading. I've got one thing on the asset store, and it's sound effects, because I didn't want to have to keep on updating the project again. Anyways, so it can go out of date and break. That's just assuming the person who put it there initially was a pretty good programmer and they just didn't support everything that you wanted to have supported, versions and platforms and everything, rendering pipelines. Problem number 2, there are shitty coders out there. There are people that just aren't that good at writing code. They will get it done. They will make something that's not fraudulent. It will actually do it, but it's just not written very well. Like it's CPU intensive, or a big thing with Unity is allocations. So my version of this is zero allocation. I need a better term to just sum it up quickly. While the frames are updating, there's no allocations. So at the start of the scene, yeah, there's some allocations. There's a pool that's created, but all the resources are pooled. Well, there's one today I need to make sure is pooled, but it's designed that way. It's performant. It's got the variability that I need. It doesn't have, here's another thing you get wrong with asset store stuff. Because it's a product that's to be sold to more people than just you, to be used on more projects than just your one project, you will need less than what it has in it. So my thing is specifically coded to my needs. It doesn't have more code in it than what I need. Okay, so this is the lightning bolt effect, which right now I've got turned on so that it just always follows me and always connects between this other new thing called the altar and the player. That was just a way to easily test the lightning bolt functionality. This thing here is the element I want to finish in this session. It does emit lightning bolts, but not in the way you see now, which is just a testing thing. What it does, if I can get it working in this session, what it will do is when you push something into it, it will destroy everything of that type. Right now it just destroys the thing you put into it. So if I walk into it, I'll get destroyed. But what I want it to do is destroy everything of the same type, and I'll say even more than just the type, because like if I throw a block in there, I don't want all the blocks to be destroyed. I want it to also distinguish between attributes of the thing. So I think blocks are the only thing like this, but they've got letters on them. So if I put the the A block in the altar, it should destroy all A blocks. Not all blocks, just all the A blocks. Then if a creature walks in there, then all creatures of that type should be destroyed, and I might have more granularity than that, but that's basically it. I need it to solve some level design problems. So the lightning bolt will, after it's coded properly at the end of the session, it will shoot out from the altar to all the objects that it's going to destroy, and it'll destroy them. And the effect will kind of dissipate after the deed is done. So that's it. That's what I'm going to do with this session. That's the demo. I'm going to get down to work. It's mostly going to be coding. If you like to see things happen inside the level design, other sessions I do that. Probably tomorrow I'll be making a new level based on the altar. But the rest of this session, it's probably going to be mostly coding. 97% coding, I predict, with a little bit of testing every once in a while. All right. That lightning effect took me about 6 hours to write. About this evening coffee thing I'm doing. That's probably a mistake. Release notes from yesterday's release. I will reset them. Okay. I think I was starting to code this altar piece, sacrifice matching pieces. Okay. So I've got two options here. I can use dependency injection if I want. I can say that, like, if I'm matching blocks, I can do something like block piece, find all matching board. But I don't really think it's such a general use concept. I think it actually is tied to it's coupled to the behavior of the altar. So if I write a find all matching method for blocks, and then I write another one for maybe a base one for beards, every time I write this function for an override for the base function, I'm going to be thinking about the altar when I do it. So if that's really the case, then I figure I might as well put the code that does different matches based on the type of element inside of the altar piece. It's the simpler of the two decisions. and it is reversible, meaning later on it's not that hard for me to do it with dependency injection, put like a general method in all the pieces that gets called. So let's just say let's give it a reusable variable. Let's make it non-serialized. I don't really like declaring these just for honestly, I hate this. So why would I do this? Okay, now if I was in C or C++, I would do something like this. Okay, and I would say, okay, list piece, okay. And then it would only be in the scope of the function that needed it. Why would I have that static reusable thing in the first place? Because I don't want methods that get called after the level loads to be allocating new structures. It's almost like Unity needs its own language written. It's got this built in, just all kinds of structures that it just, I don't know, it needs some better solution, I think, where all of the garbage collection hits that you take from doing the news that just don't matter. Maybe that new version of their garbage collector is going to solve that. But anytime you say new in C# code that's going to run in Unity, it's a time to pay attention. So this is inelegant, but in my mind it's the best solution for this. Okay, so then if I say list piece, find matching pieces, piece, boom, boom. Then I can say reuse matching pieces, clear. And then I can return reuse matching pieces. Okay, and then I need to say, depending on what type, if piece is block piece, this is going to be okay. I'm going to do a static, and that means it'll be shared across all instances, but it'll be all right. And we'll say if that, then return find matching. Let's see. Find matching block pieces. Block piece, and then we need board. Okay. Else. This should be find matching pieces. Okay. And then this should pass in reuse matching pieces, and then this will just say Let me think of the different cases. I can't throw everything into this. Blocks. And then the different reactants are what I can throw in. And then the player piece. And those are the three things I can do. Okay, so let's see. If pieces, player piece, return. Nothing to do. Because it won't include the player piece as a matching piece. When we find the matching pieces, it's the other matching pieces. It's not the piece that got passed in. Player piece, there's only one of them, so there won't be anything that matches it. So I'll just return an empty list for that. Let me see. If it is our reactant piece, then I don't have anything that... Maybe I do. Let's see. Piece. Do I have tag? I've got tag, don't I? Piece. Tag. No, that's a static member tag is, so it's let's see. Get type. What's type? Okay. Okay. That seems all right. I just thought it was something ridiculous that I could do. So suppose there's an altar and there's an axle that can rotate a spoke piece into the altar. Then you destroy all the spokes. Maybe all the axles, maybe that would be better. Actually, I don't want that to ever happen because that's maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't need to code it right away. I'll say that. I could save that for later. Let's do this. Yeah, okay. That might handle it. Okay, so let's get the letter. Letter equals piece. Let's make this a block piece. Let's see, board, piece groups, and blocks. Yep. Get live ones. And this is going to be I. Is it enumerable or enumerator? Let's try enumerable first. I always forget. I got it right. Oh, and this needs to also have list, piece, matched pieces. Okay, for each block piece, check piece and block pieces. If check piece equals the original block piece, or check piece get letter, not you do the same letter as the piece being sacrificed, then we'll just skip it. Otherwise, we add it to the list of matched pieces that are gonna get sacrificed. Okay, that's that one. Then there's more. This is almost like my base method. It'll probably work on just about anything. That's my theory anyways. Okay, find matching mutable pieces. Piece, piece, board, board, list, piece, matched pieces. And it wants to do an I collection. Go ahead, let's try it. How does that work? Yeah, it works nicely. Okay, so let's say match type equals piece get type. What were we going to say? Full name. That seems like too much. I don't think I need all that. I think just name will do it. Okay. Name. Okay, and then similarly, let's get all the mutables. Let's see. Okay. Let's see, match type name. Or even just type name. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty solid. Okay, so we say, give me all your pieces. List piece. Sacrificial pieces. Each piece, sacrificial piece in sacrificial pieces. Okay, we will. Let's do a similar thing to this other code over here. Let's see what that does. I have no idea. Why am I still drinking coffee? I think just because it tastes good. Maybe I also like to get a little hyper when I'm coding. Maybe that's what's going on. Get a little hyper. Build it. Cool. It might work the first time. Huh. I think it worked. Yeah, it worked. I just gotta hook up the bolts. Let me try the player. Okay. So I'm thinking about this a little bit. I've got an idea that the bolts are going to travel to each thing they destroy. But the question is, do the bolts just immediately move to where the same objects are reborn? Because if that were the case, then you might only briefly, for just one frame, see the bolts drawn on the things they destroyed, and then the next frame they would all be in one place, and the bolt would just be going pretty much immediately to the place where they all went, without showing the destruction that happened at the places very well. The other way to do it is to say, no, we won't have the bolt move to where the things were reborn. It will just stay fixed on the destruction points for, a second or 3. I think the second way is better. It does mean that I need to code the bolt so that it could either be at a fixed point or travel with the transform wherever it moves to. Because both things are nice. I don't actually think I need the transform behavior right away, which is what I'm showing right now. Like the beam it was added, and then I specified 2 transforms, both the alter and the player, and then it just each frame looks up the new position. What is going to work better for this initial case is taking a fixed position at the time you add the bolt, and saying, let's send the bolt to that location. All right. So cool. I'm just thinking a little bit longer, because I could do one of two things. I could delete the code that now uses the transform, and just put in the static position based code for the bolts, or I could add in an option now that you could do one or the other. The question is, how likely will it be that I need that option of dynamic binding? So let's think about the use cases. Alter is one thing I want to use the bolts for. Static points. Block pad linking. Okay, this one. Okay, the idea with this is that each time you move the block, it will briefly show a bolt to the closest block pad, or not just the closest block pad, but the block pad that it would go to if it were destroyed. So if I knock this one block to the east side of the room, the block pad it's closest to is this one right here, but players are having a hard time intuiting where blocks are going to go to. So the idea is I'd knock this one block here, and then there'd be a brief flash from the one block here over to here. I think that one also is one that should be static. So let's call that static. Were there any other cases where I definitely wanted to use a bolt? I really do like that, the look of running around with a bolt tethered to you, it suggests all kinds of game element ideas to me. I imagine that bolt being something like a weapon where everything that it touches destroys it. I imagine that bolt being something like a constraint, like you can only go so far on your leash. But I'm not ready to design a game element that uses that yet. So I don't think it's right to put in something for that use case that I'm not sure is going to be a real use case. Okay, there's one other one. Oh yeah, there's another creature that I haven't put in the game yet that was coded up a long time ago that has a beam that fires from it. That would be a good case to use it. One other case I might use it in is my own trail system. But I don't. That seems too far off. All those things. So the only two things that are really, it's really certain that I'm going to use it are these two. So I'll just recode this to use static points, and if I want to in the future use dynamic points where it's tied to transforms, I can code something for that. It won't be that hard. Okay, bolts. Let's make this. Oh, not position. From point to point. Okay, and here I can almost just build and see what breaks and then just work backwards from that. I don't mind doing that at all. Okay. So this. Oh, from point. Maybe that's it. It's a lot of talking about me. A pretty small change. Okay. So, I mean, what this will do is it'll just go to one fixed point, and when I move around, it won't follow me. So there. Okay, so the other stuff I need to do. So I've got this thing where I can add bolts. I mean, it says add a bolt, but what it really means is just grab a singleton instance I set up. I need a pool of bolts. So let's just put in does it need any more? I don't think it is. this can be deleted. Yeah, so let's get rid of this thing too. Yeah. So let's see. Bolt manager. I want a pool of bolts. Let's see. This stuff I do not need. Delete it, just like it said. Each bolt has got all the kind of setting specific stuff for the type of bolt it is. So I can just have one pool of bolts. It can be a stack, bolt, bolts. Okay. Just delete this. Okay, but I think do I want 2 stacks? I'm gonna have to do some design here. Okay. Rex. Pool all bolt creation. After initial. Why do I keep writing stuff when I understand the first thing that I wrote and I keep writing? I think that's the there might be an audience thing in my head. Okay, so pool all the bolt creation. Let's make the pool growable. Pool can grow. Because I kind of don't want to have to constantly be adding a little bit to the pool as I go. No, on the other hand, I think I would like to just have some warnings that say maybe up your count, because that'll tell me, like, if there's one level that suddenly sends out 100 bolts all at one time, instead of me having the pool grow to accommodate 100 bolts all at one time, it's probably should be more of a signal to me. Design your level differently, or design the thing that creates the bolts differently so that it doesn't create such an excessive number. So I'll take out this. Okay. I think that's enough for requirements. Okay, first solution. Active bolts and inactive bolts. Double stack. Let me think though. So it should be some kind of thing to just track. Let's call this available, or no, call it bolt pool. Okay. And then the active bolts, they can go in the list. It shouldn't be a stack. Call this active bolts. Okay. pop to use push when done. Okay. And if you pop it, then you also add it to the list of active bolts. And when you're done with it, you have to remove it from the list. Of active bolts and push it back onto the pool. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think there's a lot more to think through. Yeah. Okay, but maybe encapsulate this. Alright, let's say number one, don't encapsulate it or don't put it in a class or anything like that. Then you've got I don't know, what's the right term? Create bolt. And then what did I do already inside of Bolt Manager for creating a bolt? I think it's all under add alter bolt. This should be refactored a bit. So there's some function like add bolt that gets called, and then this, this will pass in whatever's specific to it. Yeah. Okay. So add bolt, and then called by add alter bolt, remove bolt, called by update when bolt is past end time. Okay, add bolt is going to, I don't know, it's so easy enough to write. I'll just wait on that. Okay, I think that covers it. The only question is, do I want something like active bolts? That's too OO for me. I just don't need it. I was thinking about encapsulating these two things inside of one object. I think I've just felt the procedural influence too strongly as of late, and I don't feel like making these little fortresses of encapsulation anymore. They were more valuable when I had to write a lot of multi-threaded code. I'll say that. When you write multi-threaded code, you need some fortresses. That's one nice simple thing about Unity code. And web code, for that matter. Yeah, that's some of the hardest code to write is multi-threaded. Okay. So, yeah, this is it. So we'll say stack bolt available bolts. No, bolt pool. List bolt active bolts. Okay. Init. Okay, put this const max bolt count. $100 is a lot. Let's hit 30. 30 feels pretty generous. And not a bad like warning. Bolt pool equals new stack bolt max bolt count. I'll go make my wife happy for a few minutes. She wants a soda and kisses. I love my wife, for anyone who happens to be worried about that. So I'm going to go get her a little thing. We'll be back in just a few minutes. maybe 40. Okay, so do I want to encapsulate this? I don't think I really need to. Let's just create it right here. Well, it does need to be initialized with bolts. Okay. Not just the capacity, you actually have to create it with an initial count of bolts. Okay. So we say stack bolt pool equals, no, yes, bolt count. Okay, that is enough coffee. I just realized, man, I am just buzzing hard here. Part of it is I ran up the steps to get back here because I was real excited to get back to what I was working on. But yeah, running up the steps plus lots of caffeine, like fight or flight, or code. All right. So let me say pull, push the bolt. I think I can probably get away with just letting it default and everything. Yeah, all this stuff's fine. This will be null. But the way that adding a bolt works is it will get a bolt from the available pool and just overwrite that once it has it. Okay, so bolt manager. Okay, active bolts equals new list bolt. Good. Is initialized. Do I need it? I don't think I do. Don't need this. Don't need that. Don't think I need this either. Bolt equals bolt pool pop. If bolt equals null. I think pop returns null if there's nothing left. Is that true? Documentation to be added. I probably did that because it's a template. Or generic. Let's see. Unit, no, C# stack. Okay, I want pop. Oh, invalid operation exception. Okay. So what's the thing I should check instead of trying to pop? Peak. There's going to be properties count. Yeah. So we'll say if bolt pool count equals 0. Debug log exception. Now let's do filled logger. It encapsulates all this in a way that's nicer. Not an exception, an error. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, log info. Okay. Exhausted pool of bolts. Up the count. I'm kind of curious, where else did I say this? Up the count. Let me be consistent. Trail util. This code works. Okay, there I use count. Good for me. Yeah, you know, where I'm going to see this is actually going to be in the console. Let's do log warning. Okay, and then up the count. And I didn't do it the right way here. So this should be bolt segment. Hold on, what is it? What? What was I even? What? Okay. So if bolt segment pool count equals 0. Bam, okay. This is on Bolt Manager. The bolt segment count I should be a little bit careful with. Max bolt segment count 100. Let's say const int typical segments per bolt. Let's see, 20. Each category gets its own pool of segments. That's okay. So that's going to make 800. Yikes. Oh man, that's a lot of object instances. Let's bring this down to 10, which means 400. Let's bring this down to 30, which means 300. Okay, yeah, I just don't want to go crazy here, you know. Okay. I think here's where I make my generic add bolt function. Let's just take this guy. Make it static. It's kind of one of my favorite things to do. Add bolt. We'll say category. Okay. So this comes from bolt pool, so let's pass that in as well. Stack bolt pool. This comes from the category. This comes from, okay, let's see, I also need list bolt active bolts. Okay, so from here we say active bolts add bolt. Okay, so add alter bolt becomes add bolt from transform to transform, alter bolt category, bolt pool, active bolts. Now I'm wondering, do I need to have a separate segment pool I do. I know why. Because, so I was wondering, do I need to have a separate segment pool for each category of bolts? And the answer is yes, because the bolt segment has an instantiated game object for the prefab associated with that particular category. And I'll have a different prefab for the block bolts, which will be a separate category later. Okay. I think I will do this optimization too. So bolt segment. Make it fast. Don't want to do extra lookups in this code. This is code that runs many times, many times. Okay, so we'll say bolt segment game object. And there's a line transforms of both segments. Okay, if I'm going to do that, it's arguable whether or not. The problem with Unity is I don't know if when I access this game object thing, if it's actually a significant call. Maybe I'll go with the writer recommendations. So it says this is a expensive method invocation. It doesn't say this. Checking against a null, it says is expensive. All right. Because if this saves no time by doing that, it's not without penalty, because I also have to have some other code that sets that game object. All right, so I won't try to optimize that. But this. Wow. And that's a mystery to me. Why this would be expensive, but I'll take their word for it. I will take their word for it. Let's say public pool is set. Then I won't have to look at this transform thing. Okay. Now I gotta find the place where the bolt segment is set. That would be in the align. I think that would be in the line. Yeah, okay. So we say bolt segment is set equals true. So we also need to, this is a good thing about this variable too, is I can turn it off and not have to worry about setting all the other values in it to, you know, empty or whatever. So let's just look everything bolt segment is used for, make sure I've got it covered every place. So here when I remove the bolt segments, we'll say, okay. If bolt segment is set, bolt segment transform game object set active false. Well, I guess in this case it is worthwhile to maybe set it to a variable. Let's say segment transform false. That, and then bolt segment is set equals false. Okay. Okay, so here we say remove bolt. No, it's a new function. Just let me write it here first. I'll define it later. Okay, it's going to be this bolt here. Bolt pool. Don't do that to me. Just, oh, god damn it. Static. Void. Remove bolt. Bolt, bolt. Stack, bolt. Bolt, pool. List, bolt. Active bolts. Sometimes you just get really annoying. Oh, this is why. Actually, I was wrong. I owe Ryder an apology. I need to pass in this other stuff for it to work. Okay. You know what? Another thing I could do that's maybe a little bit better is we'll say bolt. Returns true if bolt should continue to live. Should remain active. Return false. Okay. Okay, so here, update bolts. So you can say we'll pass in these two things here. And you say if it returns false, then we're going to remove the bolt. Oh, oh, oh. But I'm right in the middle of iterating through a list of bolts, which, so these active bolts are exactly the same thing as what I'm iterating through. Okay. Yeah. So you gotta do it in 2 passes. And I don't need a bool anymore. I'll just say okay. And I don't actually need these guys anymore. So what I can do instead is we say, no, I take it back. Okay, so this is the active bolts. This is the bolt pool. Okay, and at the end of this, remove inactive bolts. Yeah. Active bolts. Bolt pool. Okay. Okay, before I forget it, let's go back up to add bolt, and we'll make sure that is active is set. This is going to be active bolts, bolt pool. Okay. So I don't have to 2-pass this. Let's say if bolt is active. If not, bolt is active. Just add this into the bolt pool here. Push bolt. Okay. And then actually I don't, let's just get rid of this. I don't really need it. And I think I can use a predicate on active bolts, remove all bolt that will remove everything where it's all the bolts that are inactive. I think it'll remove. Yeah, that one line there is very readable. It wouldn't help anything to put it inside of a function. It actually obfuscates it to add it to another function. Okay. Okay, so updates all the bolts. I feel like adding an insertion here just to make sure I've done this right. And also this helps me see that this function is what will change the bolt to not be active. Okay. It feels like I wrote all the code, but it also feels like I probably missed something. Yeah, it's expensive, I know. You're mainly complaining about this, though. If I comment this out, it's no longer expensive according to it, and this is only a special case. I wish there was a way to just kind of check these off and say it's no big deal and kind of disable them one by one. I don't think it's going to let me do that. Oh, yeah, let's try that. Okay, I like that. Okay, you're still gonna oh my God. And this will be like one that's expensive down below. Yeah, this one will be expensive. It's like I have like go and yeah, I don't know. I appreciate writer's effort to point these out to me. I think I'm just not going to worry about it too much. But let's, yeah, you know what? This is all right. I don't mind adding in the I wish it would do it for me automatically, recursively, but I'm fine. What was the other one? I think normally I don't care about these warnings, but this code I really am trying to make performant right out of the bat. Ooh, disable on file with comment. But the whole file? All right, I'm just going to do them one by one. Nah, that's going to look ugly and hard to read if I do it the whole way through. Tell you what, let's just let them be red for now. What I might do, a little bit later, I have no idea why the font changed on me, is hide them all for the file. But right now, if there is something that is taking more performance or taking more CPU, I want to know about it. Let me reopen this file so I can see if I can get my font fixed. Okay. Bolt manager. Okay, thanks. Okay, what was the deal here? It looks like I'm missing a curly. Oh, I gotta return the pool. Return pool. Alright, it's going to create 300 segments. It'll have them at the ready. Alright, so the way this should work is that I pass an effect back for each one of the pieces that's going to be sacrificed. Let's create a new piece sacrificed effect. Maybe. First, let's look at piece punctured effect. Because do I want to recreate everything that's in there? There's a fair amount here. Yeah, I don't want to recreate all this. Because this code I do want to run for creatures versus blocks. And I don't want to add all that code back in again. So, let's copy from another one. target. Yeah, that one. Oh, come on. It says press enter to insert. It's not doing the thing that you said you would do. So let me just do that. There we go. So we will say return false, and it's going to be bolt manager S add alter bolt from this transform to target transform. And most of the work is going to get handled by bolt manager. This effect is just glue between the logic and the presentational or the view. Okay. So much code written there, I just feel like I need to step through at least the initialization. Let me set my breakpoints. I'm going to set them for adding and removing. So let's look at it from here. And then let's do a trivial exit here. In fact, I can just back it up to here. I want this code to run fast. There. Okay. I got the debugger going. Let's take a look at that. 30. One bolt looks like emptiness. Is active false. Good. All good. Okay, this will be empty to start. Pop a bolt in there. It's active now. From point. Yeah. This is a better place to perform that. This offset position transformation right here. I'll have to remember that. 2 point. Category bolt. Okay, we've got one active bolt. Okay, this is looking healthy. I'm just gonna play, see what's up. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then at the end, it did not hide the segments. It stopped updating them, but it didn't hide them. I gotta think about that a little bit. But let's just see it do another one. Okay. So I know that these ones are not active. It's just the game objects are, they're not hidden. Because if they were active, their segments would be jittering around. Okay. So let's take a look at update bolt. See, it is going to remove the bolt segments. I think it's failing here, so it just needs to return here, and that'll probably do it. I think I used to have that code work that way. Because when I say active is false and I don't return, it's going to continue on to update the bolt segments one more time, which ends up doing a whole bunch of drawing and repositioning, but that's it. It won't update ever again, which means it won't have the bolt segments be removed. So let's also fix this other thing I called out. I say add bolt. This will cut down on some calculations and draw them just to the beginning of the bolt creation. So we'll say okay. Well, let's give that one a shot. Okay, it's there for 3 seconds. I'm seeing something I'd like to do, which is I'd like for it to start out kind of strong like that and then weaken. I think I can do that by making it thin out after a bit. The other thing I noticed is no, that was right. That was basically right. Okay, it's really long. That's one thing. But I'm going to keep it long for the moment because it'll allow me to see this other effect where it dissipates well. Let me play with it just a little bit longer. Okay, so it did put one of its beams at the birth location instead of the death location. Let me look at that again. Yeah, let me think about that one. I put the bolt effect right at the beginning. Making sure I support rushing through the effect. I don't know why it's... I don't know why it's putting one of the bolts on the block pad. Okay, let's just see if this is returning the right thing. So I'll come down, I'll knock this A block into here. That's not a good test though. I want this A block to be off of that pad, this A block to be off of that pad. Then I bring this around, and then I want to see where it's getting these coordinates from. So let me give these some names so I know which is which. Call this block northwest. So I'm going to knock it off in the northwest corner. And this one I'll call block northeast, because I'm going to throw it up there. And this one call sacrificial block. Okay. I should make it pretty easy to check where each one is. Let me also drop a diagnostic block down there so I can get the coordinate system right. Okay, so this is where the A pad is. It's going to be at 3130, negative 26. This is going to be 21. This one's going to be, oh wait, what am I looking at? No, this one's going to be a 21, and this one's going to be, screw it, let's just stick them up here. And I'll be able to look at them directly if I want. Okay, so 12, 21, 2. Okay. Okay, so what pieces do I got? Should be northwest and northeast. Okay, that's northeast. This is northwest. Okay, that much is good. Okay, they haven't died yet. Columns are 21 and 2, so those are correct. So it's going to be a thing like something else is moving them around. I can fix this pretty simply by having this effect take in the target position instead of the transform. So if anything else happens to move these around, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Let me just verify it's still screwing up in the way I think it is. A little puzzle to get it back to where it was supposed to be. Okay. Yeah, and that time did it even send a bolt out to another place? I think it took them both at the block pad. It's okay. I can fix this really easy. this be get transform and then position. What? Oh yeah, because it's a different type. Okay, so we'll say, oh, then you're expecting a transform to be passed. Okay. Okay. No problem. This is probably a better interface anyways. Let's go to add bolt. No, not that one. Do I really want syntactic sugar in this? I think I don't. I was gonna like make a version where you pass in the transform though, and you pass in the point. But I think I would rather have it be a vector 3 because that'll make it clear to me, okay, you are passing in a fixed set of points. And later on, if I want to have a dynamic set of points, then I would probably create an interface like I had there previously with 2 transforms passed in. Okay. So there you want to change this to take I think vector 3 target point. This will just be a vector 3. Okay. Now, if it still screws up, I'll be really confused. Perfect. Okay, now let's do the dissipation effect, which I'd like to do by just making the beams get thinner. Let's get rid of these diagnostic cubes. Okay. So bolt, let's see. Before I get too fancy, let's just try having it be built into the bolt manager's update of the bolt segments. Update bolts, update bolt segments. line transforms of both segments. That's the one I want. There's the scale that gets set inside of the geometry. Calc segments, between path, bold geometry detail. I don't want to bring animation code into the geometry though. This is just saying here's the correct way for this to be set. So let's go back to the bolt manager. And pass in float. Shrink. Let's see. What's the right way to say this? Radius scale. So we will say we'll get a scale or a vector 3 scale. I'll say scale x equals scale, z equals radius scale. And scale y equals bolt segment scale y. Scale. Try that. Okay. Line transforms of bolt segments. Radius scale, where does that come from? It should be passed in from up here. Or I can calculate it from here, can I? So I've got the end time, I don't have the start time. Okay, so I do need the start time so I can be able to say at what point am I at. Okay, so end time, let's just put a start time. Time minus bolt start time. Yeah. Calc radius. radius. Come on. There we go. So this is going to be, at least for now, it can be finessed later, but it's just going to be the amount of time that's elapsed. And we'll have the scale go from 1 to 0. So it's going to be 1f minus time minus bolt start time divided by bolt category duration. So it means at 0. So if the current time minus when we started is 0, and that's 0 divided by the duration, doesn't matter, be 0. So we start out at 100% 1f. Okay, so say it's been the full duration, then we'll have, say it was 3 seconds was the duration, then it would be 3 divided by 3 is 1, and this would be closer to 0. Now if this goes past, it'll start doing a negative scale and it'll start being visible again. But I believe I've got code that's going to avoid doing that. So I've got here this, if the time is past the end, don't update the bolt segment. So that's fine. This might work the first try. Let's try it to compile it first. I rather like that. It lasts too long, but that's fine. I'm just developing with it. Okay, let's do another one. That's kind of magic. I also liked I didn't have to write any code that managed a material to make the material be more translucent. Yeah, the way it kind of falls away with the bloom and everything, it looks good. To me it looks good. Maybe to somebody else it looks sucky, I don't know. Okay, so let's make it a little bit closer to the duration that I would expect to use. So, bolt manager. I said duration 3 seconds. Let's do 1 second, which is ages in a game. pretty good. I think I know what sound I want it to have. I think it should be melodic. I'm picturing like a triumphant electric guitar chord. That's the last thing I got to do in this session is give it a sound. It seems to be working pretty well. Alright. I'll stop being self-indulgent. Let's move on to the effect. The sound effect, I mean. So that is some good reusable code too. I'm looking forward to adding that into other places with different types of bolts. So hard not to drink that last little bit of my coffee, but I can tell with my body chemistry and everything that would be a mistake. Let's go to Logic. Bringing my little keyboard out. Well, I guess I don't need to do proper keyboard playing, just gotta be able to fiddle on the keys a little bit. I've got some tiny little synthesizer keyboard, which is entirely appropriate for me. I'm not a real performer. I don't deserve a full gig style keyboard. I'm not going to play at somebody's wedding. I'm just going to tinker around inside of my own little studio here. And don't like to buy more consumer electronics than I'll actually use. Because it makes me feel gross at some point when I look at some, really nice thing I bought and I didn't really use it for much. Makes me feel like I personally ordered a bunch of children to build it for me, and then I just ignored it. Feels like there's some cost in human misery that must be paid back for every piece of consumer electronics I own. Okay, if I create things with it, then it's okay. Those little children, they need a job, right? They need a little job with their little hands. Guitar. Let's go listen to a couple or 7 different options. No, I want something triumphant. I think I gotta go lower. Effect like that is about right. Let's go lower. That's starting to sound good. So you destroy something and I'll either play all 3 notes in the key or 2. If I do 2, I can have variations so it doesn't always sound the same. So I can go. I think that's probably the way to go. Just 2 random notes. The other way it can be done is so if the effect was going to last for 3 seconds, it's not bad to do like, Did I say 3 seconds? I think it's only going to be 1 second. 1 second. So it's 1 second, it's like... versus... or the 2-note version, which will be with 2 other variants. Okay. So for the sake of simplicity, I think it's just going to be the 2-note with variations. Okay, British combo synth, that sounds pretty good. Let me try a different one. That's cleaner. Doesn't have the intensity of the first one. Like, I don't mind it sounding a little bit over the top because what it's doing is kind of scary. It's like destroying everything that matches the pattern. It's a sacrifice. Weak. Let's play with this one. So far, that British combo definitely sounds the best. Back to this guy. Okay, this one, let's try again that lower octave. That's not bad. I'm making dogs bark. This dog does not want to rock. It's a polka dog. Kind of a grandiosity to it, but still I'm liking this one the best. I'll play with a few other octaves, one lower. That's more powerful. That one's like even a little bit harsher than the octave above it. Okay, let's go lower. Gotta find the part where it kind of sucks before I know that I found the best setting. So that's not melodic, or it's starting to sound like it would jar too much with all the other things that are going on. Like there could be music playing. That's definitely harsh, but it does feel like I've gone too far. Let's go one more just to really be sure. Yeah, and now it's just sounds unnaturally low. Okay, so I think this is the best. Yeah. So then let us create a thing that will render this to individual wave files. Don't make one kind of long, I guess. I'm going to follow the pattern of notes that I've got in my sound effect manager. So for these guys, I did B, D, F, G sharp. Let's start with B. Or do I want this one? Okay, let's do that one. B, C, D. Okay. That's not B though. Okay. This is B. This is the B I want. Man, but this lower one. No, too harsh. Okay. Yeah, okay. Although one other way I could do it, if I just don't want to do chords, go for that lower one and say, we'll just play one of these at a time, no chord. So either this one or up an octave and I get chords. I'm going to stick with my guns and I'll go with that upper octave one. Okay, so then let's find which octave is that? Right here. B, leave a space. C, D. E, F. And then G sharp. Okay, let's just see what that sounds like. Okay. And then just to make sure that I catch in the export any trailing off at the end, I'm going to add one little note at the end, which is like a throwaway note. Because I want the mix down to just include any trail on the end of this. Hold on. Now let me listen to it one more time. Okay. Okay, so that last one. Let's just bring it in. That's the throwaway right there. It probably would have already given me space at the end. I'll even do an experiment. I'll leave some space beyond that note. And, okay, the other question is, do I like the velocity on this? Because if you set the velocity different ways, you get different sounds. So, okay, that's probably about the same velocity there. Let's do a little one. That's not affecting anything. I think this particular synthesizer is kind of inelastic in how it sounds when the velocity differs, and which is just fine. Just gives me one less knob to twiddle. Let's make sure that's selected. Alright, so then we go sound effects, new folder, alter. And yeah, just export that. Alright, so then let's go and open this back up inside of oh, got a lot of stuff open. Don't need all of these windows. Try to keep it down to mostly 2. Anyways, let's open this up inside of Audition, and then I can further process it there and chop it up into individual sound effects that load into the engine. Okay, so I'm noting to myself that Logic dutifully added a bit of extra space at the end, so I didn't need to add the throwaway note. This might not be in a bad range right off the bat. It feels like this sound will be maybe a little bit annoying if I get it too loud. Because even though it's like, oh, you're sacrificing something to the altar, it's a big deal. Suppose you've got to do that a whole bunch of times in a level. And each time you're pushing something in, you're just wincing because it's so friggin' loud. You know, that kind of thing. Let's also play with some effects. This is on the clip or the track. Oh well, there's no track here. Let's see. Reverb. It's already got reverb and stuff. Am I really going to improve it? Okay. Actually, it does sound better. It does sound like it fits in more when I have some reverb on it. Let's go ahead and do some larger ones. Usually I don't like them, but I want to experiment. Actually did like that. Sometimes I'm just trying to find the thing which is too much and then go back from it so I know I've found the optimal thing. And that didn't sound like too much to me, so I'm still kind of wondering what's too much. This will be too much. Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, that one's too much. Thank you, Great Hall, for giving me an example that's not too weird, but it is too much. So I know I like large auditorium. Just for the hell of it, what is this King's Bathroom thing? That's weird. Like that. getting to a point where I'm maybe having a little bit of trouble like distinguishing between one or another as far as which one I like better. So let's go back to large auditorium. Play that again. Okay. Then I'm going to test that against lecture hall. I think let's stick with large. Okay. And now let's go ahead and apply it. Okay, then I need to dampen it a little bit here. So this comes to a neat end. Okay. I'm sure that will reduce the reverb a bit, but that's fine. Okay, I think I'm on the path here. Feels like it's going to be a good sound. So let's call this I want to give it the right name. Markers. I can delete. This is called sacrifice. Okay, this one will be sacrifice B2. Okay. D2. I do want to make sure I get those markers in the right spot. So I'll zoom in on those in a second. F2. And then G#2. Cool. Double check the markers. Oh, also I need one at the end. Come on. All right. So this, let's pull it in just a, or can also come up ahead of it and just silence. So the thing about this particular version of Audition, like when you say silence, it does not flatline it, which irritates the crap out of me. Like it reduces it a little bit, but the old behavior was, no, you take it to 0. 0 decibels. Okay, that's all good. And this one will dampen it a little bit, and you hit it a few more times, and maybe you get to 0. It's really fucking annoying. Why would they change that? I have no idea. Let's save this, and then we'll take these guys and we'll convert them to these range markers. And I'm just always want to make sure that I get the range marker's name correctly, because it's sort of a pain to fix them if they're wrong. Yeah, so I'm going to call it sacrifice dash, and then, okay, note in octave. Okay, so this will save them. That's correct. All right. So now I come back over here and I've got these new guys here. Let me check one thing. Here's the sound of pushing or being pushed. Oh, it's normalized, so that's not a good case. Okay, stairs is normalized too, so that's not a good case. Let me see. Level select. Did I just normalize almost all of them? I don't know why I did that. Grass walk, yeah. The quiet ones I didn't normalize. Alright, I can just try them at this. This way to start. Make them addressable. Okay. Save that. I got too many things open. It'll be all right for a little bit. Okay, so let's do sacrifice. B2. And the names are actually important because when the engine loads in those samples, it uses the claimed note values B, D, F, G sharp to interpolate the rest of the notes and to play notes that are in the right key of whatever music happens to be playing. And that allows all the sound effects that are melodic to play well together and not sound out of harmony. Why do I have the light on? It's terrible. Darkness. I choose to work in darkness. There's no other way. Okay, sound effects. Okay, so we've got to add in up here some glue. This is the module that's used to most directly play sound effects with a little bit of context about how they're going to be used inside of the game, so I can have different effects be applied here. I need to put this in alphabetical order. Okay, so I think what I want to do here is add a new accessor. We'll say sacrifice and vector 3 position. That'll be wherever the altar's at. Get okay, and then play variant is also going to be for playing a different note, right? Yeah, that's how it works. Okay, so here it's going to be sacrifice, play, wait, there's note too? Note, is that the same? No, you wanted to use the variant because that'll pick one note in the current key. Okay, oh, I also have play in key at. Is that gonna just pick two random? Yeah, okay. Play variant at. We'll say first variant I pan volume. Okay, this one. Okay, second variant. Okay, and int first variant I equals. Do I have a random? Maybe I do. Good. Okay. Next, between 0 and 2, that's the number of notes inside of one key. And we'll say second variant I equals first variant I plus 1% 3, or modulo 3. So that will cause it to be a 2-note chord that picks the 2 notes randomly from the 3 available. Now this is a magic number. Let's see if I've already got something that says like notes in key or something along those lines. Chord, note, now. Does this have to be a static read only, or can I just do a const? I think I can do a const, okay. And this, I think I could do music key util notes in key, and this I could do there we go. There's that, and we can do sound effects, sacrifice, transform position. Okay, let's give it a shot. Oh shit. Yeah, do it. Apply it. I don't see any error message down here. So that means that the sound effect probably loaded okay. Volume is way the fuck up. Let me turn that down. Okay, that's about right. Nice. Okay, let's get some music playing with it. It's playing in key. So it doesn't play the sound effect unless it sacrifices something. So one question I've got, is it loud enough? Alright, I gotta admit, I'm being a little self-indulgent. I just think it looks cool, so I keep doing it again. But let's try normalizing the sound. I think that'll make it louder. Because it does feel like it deserves like a little more heft to it. Okay, we'll normalize it, which is just gonna make its volume be kind of equalized with other things like these other sounds. Let's go ahead and play again. If it doesn't sound loud enough, I can just go into the audio editor and increase the amplitude there. That sounds about right. That sounds right to me. Okay, we'll get some music going again. Alright, let's do one thing. I'm going to finish the stream on this. Let's just put a whole fuckload of these things to destroy all over the place. And I'm just going to wallow in the magnitude of it all. So we'll say... And I'll take one block pad and just bring it right in line with this thing so I can just destroy as much as I want, because I'll have a whole bunch of these blocks loaded up there, and I'll just make a giant destroy fest. I don't have anywhere near 30 bolts. So that's just like maybe 13 or 14, something like that. But let's give that a shot. Yeah. And this will be the end of the stream. This is the victory moment. So I'll even turn it up a little. That looks fucking awesome. It did not slow down either. Like, it didn't like do a frame rate drop or any shit like that. Okay, let's just keep killing. Oh, I do hear one problem though. I understand why. I've got the sound effect tied to a bolt, and when there's 15 of them, it plays the same sound 15 times. Okay, I do gotta fix that before I end the session. Pretty easy to do. I kind of wanted that sound effect to play even when there are any bolts, so this will let me do that quite easily. It's important to pass these effects back and not perform the thing directly, because this code it's also run in a headless way without any update on the view. Let's just copy this over, remove the sound effect from here. don't need anything there. Okay, so then if we say that's fun. I like it. That's really performant too. I just don't see anything like a frame rate drop. That's, what is that? That was the blocks. That's an interesting one. If you're standing on a block pad, yeah, I'll come back to that one. I don't think that's really specific to the altar. Anyways. Okay, so tomorrow I get to make a level with this new element. I did take it to 100% in this session. Makes me real happy. And I did it in about 3 hours. All good. Feeling real happy about the altar. Alright, I'm going to stop the stream here. Gonna go down, chill a little bit, have a little bit of vodka, while I watch some TV, some stupid comedy that my wife doesn't like, and then maybe an hour from now, make some spaghetti, have dinner with my wife, and go to bed. That's my night. But this has been the highlight of the evening, making this, and I'm quite happy with the result. And it's a great time to stop the stream right after a good victory. Stopping the stream